Hi, welcome back, guys. So today's video is going to talk about diet and exercise and my routine and how I lost 44 pounds. I still have a long journey to go, but I'm basically going to go over things that I've learned and things that I've incorporated in my life and how I was able to slim down in the past year and a half. I do want to let you guys know that I'm not a medical professional. I don't have a degree in the medical arena. Matter of fact, I am on the complete opposite spectrum. I am in technology. I have a bachelor's in network administration, and therefore my education has little, if anything at all, in terms of medical science. But I've spent a long time reading a lot about medicine, a lot about studies. I've watched a lot of documentaries. I follow a lot of doctors. So basically, I'm getting my information the best that I can, and I'm making a decision based off of that. Now that I have that out there, I'm going to discuss basically the difference between a diet in terms of the food that you eat and a diet that you follow, something like Atkins or Paleo or whatever. So basically, here's my backstory, and then we can talk about technical terms. I had started having a lot of issues. I was diagnosed with PCOS, which basically is polycystic ovarian syndrome. It means you have ovaries sitting on, or I'm sorry, you have cysts sitting on your ovaries, which means the release of an egg, also known as ovulation, usually doesn't happen, or if it does happen, it's a hit or miss situation. Most women that do have PCOS also have a higher level of testosterone. I don't. I'm in the normal levels of where I should be. And also the other side effect of polycystic ovarian syndrome is facial hair, chest hair, more like masculine features that a woman would not normally have if they did not suffer from PCOS. On top of that, having PCOS means that it's pretty much difficult to lose weight, and it goes on all different variants of levels. And the only way they've been treating PCOS right now up to this date is birth control. And it's something that I have no desire to be on. I know the side effects. I have no desire to have those side effects on top of everything else that's going on with me. So now that that's on the table, I'm going to talk about why it's been difficult for me to lose weight. I've tried the Atkins, something similar to an Atkins diet. I tried a diet that a dietitian who specializes in diabetes gave. That also didn't work. If I lost 5 pounds, I gained it back and then some. And basically, I was losing like water weight and then gaining something extra on the way back. And my choices in food weren't always the great or the best for me, but I also wasn't overeating. And that's a misconception that most people have, is that overweight people overeat. Some do. Majority of us don't. So basically, July of 2017, after watching a lot of documentaries, reading a lot of books, following a lot of doctors, I decided to completely cut out meat and dairy out of our diet, or mostly my diet. I had the conversation with my husband, since he's the cook, and he basically, instead of letting us ease into getting rid of animal products, he just made a decision and said that starting, I don't remember what day it was in July, but starting that day, we won't eat meat or dairy. So basically, everything in our fridge that was derived from animals was given away or thrown away, depending on, if it was used or not. Our deep freezer was also cleaned out, and that was given to our friends between like all the ribs and stuff. Now, for me, the transition wasn't all that difficult because I was never a big fan of red meat, or I just didn't have the desire to have burgers and steak and hot dogs. It just wasn't my desire. I usually would go for any kind of seafood. In particular, I really love smelt and squid. But any seafood would be pretty much okay with me. And also, I really, really enjoyed eating chicken. So basically, for me, the toughest part was going to be in that arena and cheese, because I love cheese. But surprisingly, the harder part about transitioning from eating animal products to not eating animal products is the fact that, if we're doing it for health benefits and not for activism or for saving the environment, and that is a whole different ball game. We don't tend to do proper research knowing what's healthy and should I replace this with this. So I went from eating normal deli sandwiches for lunch to eating like a vegan version of that, which meant it was still processed tofurkey and bread and like mayonnaise, or like just mayo, which is a vegan version of mayonnaise, or something along those lines. So I replaced one processed item to another, so that wasn't going to benefit me health wise. I just did not know that. But I did lose like a few pounds in when I started, which was July 2017. And I plateaued right around December. Nothing was happening. So one day, January 2018, I realized that I couldn't run after my kid who had just begun walking a couple months back. I couldn't keep up with her and play with her. I was getting exhausted. I didn't want to walk. I was not interested in a lot of normal activities. All I wanted to do is just like sit and watch TV or something. So my friend reached out to me and said she invited me to a walk slash run event that was happening. So I joined her and we did a bit of walking, a little bit of running. And after that, I felt great. So I just went to Planet Fitness and signed up. And I was going to the gym pretty much on a daily basis. I used to take one day off a week just to be a rest day. And that usually used to be Friday afternoons. So Saturday morning and Sunday morning, I was still getting up at 7 and going to the gym. Well, that kind of stopped as it was getting warmer outside. So my husband and I and the dogs and the kid were walking our neighborhood. And I was getting my steps in that way. And then when summer came, we were traveling across the Atlantic Ocean back to my home country. So it was just didn't have time. And then when we came back, we were selling our house, buying a new house. So everything happened so quickly, I just didn't have time to go back. On top of that, I wasn't following a plan anymore that I already set in motion back in February. I just stopped going to gym, and I wasn't following my diet. So I gained a couple pounds. It wasn't anything too crazy. So in terms of my changes, in January of 2018, I started exercising on a regular basis. And in February, I was introduced to a book called Eat to Live by Dr. Furman. Now, Dr. Furman is a big plant-based advocate, and he tells you basically what to eat in this book, but he goes into great detail about studies and what food is good for you, and how basically we were created on this earth to eat plants and not to eat animals. And he gives you a reason why. And then he shows you the protein in broccoli versus meat. And he tells you that even if you're going to introduce meat back into your life, once you try his recommended diet, he says to put broccoli where you would put steak, and put steak where you would put broccoli. So basically decreasing the portion of your meat and increasing the portions of your vegetables. So I completely cut out, and he is plant-based in terms of no oil, no salt, just pure plants. And if you want to season it, use like an Italian seasoning or like oregano or one of those seasonings that's just an herb and not, or spices and not salt derived. So basically, I started eating oatmeal for my breakfast. I would add about a tablespoon of peanut butter. Sometimes I would be even more generous than that. I would add a cup of frozen blueberries, and I would cut up a banana at the end, and that would be my breakfast. And then for lunch, I would create this gigantic salad. I mean, the container was like this big, this wide, and I still do that today. And that consists of a lettuce. Right now, it's mostly the red leaf lettuce, spinach, kale, onion, cucumber, cherry tomatoes, cooked mushrooms, and then on the side I have hemp hearts and nutritional yeast that I pour over. And I also am making a dressing that I got from his books. It's a garlic-based dressing. I love garlic, so it just meshed well for me. And I've been eating that salad every single day religiously since February of 2018. So it's been over a year that I've been eating the same exact way ever since reading his book. Also, our dinners were whatever my husband was making, because he would usually do like a weekly plan, and then he'll cook that day whatever the food is, and then we would eat that. But we always made sure to stay away from eating oils and salts and so on and so forth. So that's basically my diet, what it consists of. I didn't snack. I stopped snacking. I stopped eating in between meals, because I've also, on top of finishing this book, I read The Code to Obesity. I don't have it in physical format. I have it in digital format. But basically, Dr. Fung talks about diabetes wasn't a prevalent issue back in the 1950s, 60s. It just started creeping up in the 70s. And the reason they goes over in great detail is basically not that our lifestyle has changed. It's the fact that we've introduced snacking. And before, we used to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You would let your body go into the fasting in between those meals, and that's how you maintain a healthy weight. Which, by the way, that's where the whole fasting diet thing comes from. It's basically going back to what we used to do that worked before. So, a little bit of his a view of food and lifestyle, and a little bit of Dr. Furman I concocted in my life. And then I started, I went back to running. I started running again in October. And I was consistent, and I've ran 7 5Ks. Well, actually 5 5Ks and 2 corporate challenges, which are slightly longer. Instead of 3.1 mile, it was 3.4. So I've done that. I have a 10K that I'm going to do in August, which I'm pretty excited about. It's a new one. It's pretty much flatland, which is what I prefer over dying on a hill. But yeah, that's basically how I started. I started running, and I was eating a healthier diet. Now, I'm going to tell you from my own personal experience and from the things that I've read that diet is 90% your healthy habit. Your diet is what's going to make you lose weight. Exercise is just a cherry on top. So theoretically, you don't need to exercise longer than 30 minutes a day. You can do whatever you want to do. But your diet is the most important thing, because food is what fuels us. And if we're eating processed food, you're not going to get the fuel that you need. But if you eat plants and seeds and nuts, which is literally filled with all sorts of nutrients, all sorts of vitamins, it is our fuel to life. So basically, the way I believe the most accurate diet, in my own opinion, is to eat a plant-based diet. And on top of that, just think, you not eating meat and dairy, while it does hurt those industries, it also helps the environment, because cows are literally like one of the biggest problems that we have right now with global warming and climate change, is because they are the biggest impact to our environment. The amount of livestock that we have to have because of our needs and demands for meat is crazy. So not only are you doing better for your own health, you're saving the environment by not eating plants, or by not eating meat, by eating plants. So that's what I've been doing. Now let's talk about diet. The one thing I don't like is hearing the word diet in terms of, oh, I'm on a keto diet, or I'm on a plant-based diet, or I'm on an Atkins diet, or paleo, or fasting, or whatever. I don't like the word diet in that context, because you're constricting yourself to a specific lifestyle for the moment. So let's say you lose weight and you're at your goal weight, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, I miss fruit on the keto diet, and I want to eat watermelon, and I want to eat apples, and I want to eat oranges, and I want to eat whatever fruit you desired. Well, now you're deriving from, you're leaving that particular diet. You're not in this ketosis state anymore, and you're basically putting yourself in a situation where you're going to regain the weight. And part of the problem is because we don't actually learn what we've been doing and what we need to continue doing, like, from then on. Weight Watchers is a perfect example. When you're on Weight Watchers, life just works well, right? You're losing weight, you're feeling great, you're getting to your goals. The moment you stop following the point system, or whatever the Weight Watchers is now, your whole entire, like, outlook and your weight starts going up. Everything changes because you've went away from a plan that worked. And the reason that it worked is because you were constricted in a way to eat certain types of foods. You didn't even know how that was actually affecting, and how that helped you lose the weight. So basically, here's my information for you, my tidbit for you. Whatever diet you choose to have in terms of what you put on your table to eat, and not follow a diet, but like your food that you eat, which is called a diet, make sure that you're not constricting yourself in a way that it would force you to want to binge or want to eat that item. I thought I was going to have a hard time going plant-based, but I did just fine. I don't honestly miss meat. I don't miss chicken. I don't miss seafood. I don't miss cheese. And the best part is you can make cheese out of cashews. There's plenty of alternatives right now available if you want to maintain that plant-based diet. I do want to again let you know that processed foods are part of the problem. So you don't want to replace all of your food from processed that you're eating right now, like processed cheese, to processed vegan cheese. Although every now and then it should be completely fine. But don't just do it on a daily basis, because you're not going to see the results that you want. So that's basically the diet portion. The exercise portion is, like I said, I believe it's only 10% of your whole weight loss program, and this should be like a program for life that you follow, not just something you expect the results like within weeks. So with exercise, you can do whatever you want. I chose to run. I didn't really like running, but I liked it more when I learned how to properly run. I was getting stitches. I was having splint shins. I was having all sorts of pain, and part of it is because my foot strike was wrong, my arms were wrong, my breathing intake and exhaling was wrong. Everything about my running prior to learning how to run was wrong. No, I didn't have a trainer. No, I didn't have help. Like I said, I am a self-taught person most of the time. So I YouTubed, I read a lot of stuff, and I incorporated those changes into my running, and that's how I improved myself. I'm not the greatest runner. Right now, I'm about 11 to 12 minutes a mile, which isn't bad, but it isn't ideal where I want to be. But I really honestly don't care what my minutes per mile are as much as I care about the distance. I want to go the distance. I don't care about the time. So that's what I chose to do. You can just walk. And my biggest suggestion to you is get up and walk every hour. If you sit on your butt all day, every day at work, the best thing you can do is just your muscles will fall asleep within an hour if they're not active. Just get up and take a walk. Go to a long way to the bathroom. Go a long way to a drink. Go a long way to food. Whichever thing you need to do to make yourself walk longer and further, do it. I typically go on a long walk during lunch. We do about a mile and a half depending on the day. And that's what I do during lunch, and I will usually come home and run. But lately, with a different medical situation I have going on, I haven't exercised in the past 3 weeks. But it's not hurting me. I'm actually still losing weight because I'm maintaining my diet. Like I said, diet is the most important part of it. So am I going to tell you to go plant-based? No. Am I going to tell you to go follow a keto diet? No. Am I going to tell you follow XYZ, this new thing, detox? No. None of that is going to help you. What I'm going to tell you right now is that you need to sit down and evaluate what will work for you. If you want to eat chips and have that be part of your diet, make sure you portion yourself. Instead of eating out of a bag, put it in a bowl and just tell yourself you satisfy your craving, you've eaten the chips in the amount that you allocated for yourself. By doing this, you will not want to binge later. By not restricting yourself to a specific diet that may or may not work for you, you should definitely portion control your food. And the best way to do it is, instead of sitting down and eating a bag of chips, put it in a bowl. The second thing I would like for you to do is to not mindlessly eat. A lot of times we don't realize that we're not hungry until we're in front of like a TV or computer. All of a sudden you get these weird cravings. Your brain is bored. Your brain is telling you, do something with me. And because TV or computer is not stimulating enough, food is usually your resort. Do not give in. Find something else to do. If you notice that you're craving chips all of a sudden the moment you sit down to watch a movie or watch a show, do not give in. Get up, go take a walk, go pick up a book to read. Find something constructive to do with your hands. It'll keep you busy for a long period of time. If you craft, go craft. whatever you do, don't give in to that temptation, because like I said, that's part of your problem. Is most people mindlessly eat, they snack, and they don't realize that they're not hungry. And then like the second thing the third thing I would give you advice on the diet aspect is to set if you're hungry in the morning, you want to eat breakfast, eat breakfast. If you're not hungry, you can skip it. Breakfast is not the most important thing. I am full believer of eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full, and you'll know. If you don't inhale really fast, you just eat take slow and smaller bites, you'll feel full, and you'll understand that satiated feeling. It's going to take a long time to get there, but you'll fully understand it once you do, and that way you won't overeat. So eat when you're hungry. Don't snack. If you're hungry and lunch is in about an hour, go drink some water. You're probably thirsty as opposed to hungry. You just don't know it. And definitely drink a lot of water. We are, I don't even know what the percentage is. I used to know it. But we are mostly made up of water, and your body craves water. Water is required for so many of your organs to function properly. So drink a lot of water. You're going to get conflicting answers. Some people are going to say 64 ounces a day. Some are going to say half your body weight. I don't care. If you drank 8 ounces yesterday, drink 16 tomorrow. I'm basically trying to tell you, just drink more water. And the more water you incorporate in your diet, the better you'll do. And then like the last thing that I can suggest about losing weight is to try and get an adequate amount of sleep. This is hard from my perspective because I have a toddler who basically refuses to sleep. And she'll wake us up all the time, or she won't go to bed when she's supposed to. So I roughly get 6 to 7 hours. That's in a pretty good range. If you can get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, do it. It will do you wonders. Your body needs that rest, and you need to be able to relax those muscles and rejuvenate your whole entire body to basically be able to do and follow a regime the next day. So, when I say diet, just look at the food that you're eating, what your whole diet encompasses. Remove things that are not necessarily the best for you in small steps. Reduce your portion size. If you're an avid ice cream eater and you need to have it after every meal, instead of eating out of a carton, put it in a bowl. Instead of having 3 scoops, have 2. Slowly decrease yourself to the point where you're still enjoying the items that you like, but you're not sitting there and indulging yourself and overeating on that particular item. And that's ultimately what's hurting you in the whole weight loss journey. And don't be too serious about exercise. Set aside 30 minutes a day, go take a walk. If you're not interested in running, go take a walk. If you want to lift weights, go do that too. That would be great for toning later on down the road as you start losing weight. But don't force yourself into it. Like I said, most of your diet to health, or at least to get healthy, is your diet. It's not so much what you do in terms of physical activity. But definitely be active if you can, and start at least walking. Just what I did. I started walking, and then I gradually increased to running. So yeah, that's the best thing I can talk about nutrition. If you want me to take something apart and talk in great detail, I can. Just let me know it down below in the comments. If you want me to talk about Dr. Furman and the book Eat to Live, I am more than happy to discuss this with you guys. If you want me to talk about the obesity code, I can definitely pull that up on my Kindle, and we can talk about that as well. And yeah, just basically do what works best for you. A lot of people will argue this diet is best, this diet best. No. We are different individuals. You can't tailor one diet solves all. Although plant-based has been proven to work for majority of the people and not cause side effects that other diets cause. So definitely, if you need help, or you want some guidance, or you want me to go further into what I've done and give you my data, because I actually wrote down the foods that I ate and how much weight I was losing, definitely let me know. Message me or comment down below. And then I shall see you guys next time for a different video. I hope you enjoy this. I hope I was a little bit of helpful. I hope I gave you information and an idea of where to start. And like I said, anything else you guys want me to talk about, just let me know. All right, bye.